I've attended more funerals than I care to share with y'all. This committee, I could sit here and cry for days about the caskets I've carried of people I loved dearly, deeply, in my soul, good people, not just drug addicts, uncles, friends, cousins, normal people. Some people that just got in a car wreck and started taking a pain pill to manage it. One thing led to the other, and how fast it spirals out of control, I don't think people truly understand. And I also understand the paradox of my history as a drug dealer standing in front of this committee. But equally, I think that's what makes me perfect to talk about this. I was a part of the problem. I was the uneducated man in the kitchen playing chemist with drugs I knew absolutely nothing about, just like these drug dealers are doing right now when they're mixing every drug on the market with fentanyl, and they're killing the people we love. I'll be honest with y'all, my desire is to only get older and only do better and be better. I believed when I sold drugs genuinely that selling drugs was a victimless crime. I truly believe that, y'all. My father always told me what doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. Now I have a 15-year-old daughter whose mother is a drug addict. Every day I get to look in the eyes of a victim in my household of the effects of drugs. Every single day.
Former drug dealer Jason DeFord, a.k.a. Jelly Roll, had some direct experience with drug use and some of the reasons behind the rampant death rates associated with fentanyl. All this in hopes of helping senators come up with solutions rather than just political points. Oh, and he found a senator that he actually could relate to.
Jelly Roll. Hi. I don't know if any of my colleagues, Mr. Chairman, do you have any ink? But I do, and I'm familiar with your work, and I'm actually a fan of the genre. I believe in second chances, and I've signed off on thousands and thousands of pardons. And I believe that I believe in redemption, and I've made that very critical.
But you are actually one of the few politicians I was familiar with because you dress like me, which I think's awesome.
I never give advice on fashion.
Yeah.
And I believe two things can be true at the same time. That we must be very smart on crime, and we must have a secure border, and we need to do everything we can to eradicate the scourge of fentanyl. But I also believe that we must have a path for redemption and to be allowed to be made whole again too after they've paid their due.
Even though Jelly Roll and Senator Fetterman found some common ground over tattoos and hoodies, many legislators struggle with addressing the best way to lessen the effects of dangerous drug use in society. And since the fight is always punishment or prevention, the two bickering sides are formed, and that makes conversations about drugs perfect for politicians to just kick down the road for future political wins, rather than them focused on solutions and trust. So while the Republican-controlled House complains about fentanyl, they neglect to do their part in advancing solutions.
Anything that we can do as a body to make common sense reforms, to hold those accountable, and to stop the cash flow that funds fentanyl is absolutely essential that we get it done right now. And unfortunately, we're here today having another hearing on fentanyl because our friends on the other side of the Capitol, because of the shenanigans at the end of last year, didn't get the bill included in legislation that would have made this, I believe, law already. It is incredibly unfortunate that playing politics is still a game played in Washington. Having 22 or 23 of us vote unanimously on this committee, having 68 of us on the same piece of legislation, and not to have a chance to get it done. It's not just frustrating to those of us on this committee, those of us in Congress, it's incredibly frustrating to the people of our country who watch the devastation eat away at their communities.
But similar to issues at the border, when potential legislative solutions are brought forward, opponents seem to only care about shutting them down, or else the problem that they run campaigns off of won't be as prominent.
One rule that the department has implemented was the asylum processing rule, which would allow asylum officers rather than immigration courts to decide asylum applications for those placed in expedited removal to significantly expedite the process. That might reduce the backlog. That might create a disincentive to come. That's something that Secretary Mayorkas did to address the border. No, you sued him to stop him from doing that. How about the asylum circumvention rule, which says that you have to either appear at a port of entry or have first sought asylum from a neighboring country? That would reduce the people who could apply for asylum. No, you sued them. You sued them to stop them from doing that. And how about trying to address the parole decisions to allow some people to come in and be able to actually have work authorizations so that they are not just sitting on the dole? No, you sued them. So this is what we have. We have Republicans suing Secretary Mayorkas to stop him from implementing his policy to address the issues of the border. And now we're going to impeach him because you say he's not addressing the issues at the border. Which do you want?
There's all kinds of nuance and legislative tricks that lead to opposing ideas in Congress getting snuffed out before they even get a chance to work. And since our elected officials' seats are the most important thing to most of them, the excuses end in finger-pointing for the sake of votes. But I do think Texas Governor Abbott miscalculated his plan here to blame Biden for his border plan that I guess he feels is foolproof.
And so we are deploying every tool and strategy that we possibly can. The only thing that we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder.